Alright, Henny Penny fryer today. We are going to be adding badges to the back here for on and off. So goal here, taking the shroud off, getting some holes drilled, getting some rivets made. We'll walk you through on how to take care of that. First step, shut this fryer off. Never work on it hot. It's a great way to end up with some really nasty burns, and you don't want to deal with that. So fryer's off. We're cooling down a little bit. We're gonna start working.
All right, so we're gonna remove the baskets. So we're gonna want to grab 2 pans. The reason for 2 pans is one gets really hot. If you have 2 of them, the next one is not as warm. We're gonna pull our fryer out. We're gonna start from the back side. The first thing we want to do is take this back panel off.
Actually, the true first step is unplugging the unit and then also disconnecting that gas line. We do disconnect it midway through, but definitely a good idea to get that out of the way. You don't want to wreck that gas line.
Alright, once we remove the back panel, we then have access to our return lines. So we're going to unhook the 2 oil return lines. Unhooking them versus the valve lever is much easier. Okay, once those are returned, we're going to come over to the side surround and remove the screws. I kind of like to keep my screws in order so I know where they need to go back in place. Alright, then we're going to move around to the front and we're going to remove the 4 screws.
Remember to let your oil cool before you service this, and then take your time. It's not a race.
The pan is kind of nice to keep items from dropping in the oil itself. We're going to remove our return lines or return tubes.
Good opportunity if you don't have the long one in that spot and you're in a state that doesn't require the quick connects, to swap over to these straight ones. Save yourself that pain with the quick connects clogging. That one was a good one.
Yeah, that one definitely was tight. Right, and then we have the 4 top screws. When I learned this from Jim Neese, you know, we're always learning new stuff. I've always fought when I'm replacing a lift motor, I've always fought this area.
Oh yeah.
Especially inside. I realized that this whole surround then just comes right off. Now all we're doing is lifting off our surround.
Oh, hey look, lift motors.
And our surround is off and we have free access to our lift motors.
Alright, Mike's pointing out here, when you're drilling out for these new badges, this little lever right here obviously is going to get in the way. You don't want to hit that with your drill bit. I'm assuming that's inconvenient?
It's inconvenient, but it also, will,
it wrecks it a little bit.
Yep.
So you want to make sure that you move him out of the way when you're drilling that particular spot, because we're going to put 4 rivets in per unit. And then Mike is also pointing out, as soon as you turn this, there is oil left in this, so you will make a mess wherever you're working.
Yep, so you want some rags. key, obviously, to this is making sure that the lever is going to work correctly. You got it in the right spot. Okay, so this is the one you want to make sure the valve or this lever is off to the side so you're not drilling into it.
Alright, as we're going, we're finding out that one of our nuts is stripped. So, first thing you probably should check on these before you start going crazy. Make sure this is all in good working order. That way you can get it straightened up. But this is the kind of stuff, if you find it, it's good to take care of it, because this handle sitting in the fryer isn't going to do them any good. One little thing to make sure of, when you're all done, you want to make sure that this little flag right here is free of hitting those rivets. So, important that those are able to actuate, or the store is not going to be able to filter. Alright, and the fryer goes back together just like we took it apart. But remember, as you're going, don't tighten all your fasteners tight right away. Take your time, go around and put them all in and start them all, including your filter line or your oil line, and then come back around after you get everybody started and tighten them all up. Alright, and we're wrapping up the Henny Penny fryer badge install. I just want to point out a couple things to make your life a little bit better. Make sure your oil is cool, or you're going to have to get rid of it. You don't want to have that sitting below you. Something drops in there and splashes up. It's going to hurt quite a bit. And then your gas line, make sure it's either both shut off and disconnect it, because if you stretch this too much, you can damage that gas line, and then you've got yourself a leak, which is another repair, and that's not really necessary. So, and then don't forget to test your work to make sure everything is working correctly. You can hear our motors are kicking on, obviously not pumping because we have no oil down the bottom. So, key thing with all jobs you do, make sure what you did actually works at the end, right? Thanks for watching. Work safe, stay safe. See you next time.